All right, what's going on, guys? This is How I Talk. I'm the star of the show, Chris Jones.
Whoa. Slow it down, big fella. Hey, this is Tim Jones. I'm coming from space as I always do, right to your place. I can't wait to share with you the good things we have today.
All righty. Yep. So today we're going to be talking about a high quality woman. Yeah, I said it, high quality. So we're going to talk about what does that look like. If you haven't checked out our episodes a couple weeks back, we talked about a high quality man and what that looks like. So definitely check that one out. But guys, let's talk about a high value woman and what does that look like?
Oh, wait a minute. We already got problems because you went from value to quality. Hey, those are two different things. Are we talking about a high value
Separated.
woman? Are we talking about a high quality woman? I think there's two separate things. And all you ladies out there, you got to know the difference between a high value woman and a high quality woman. Sometimes you can have value but not have quality. And
Mm,
sometimes you can have quality and not have value. So you got to decide, am I going to be both, or am I one that just brings value with no quality? But hey, I would take the quality over the value. But we're gonna look at that today. So let's jump into it, Chris. What would you say? What would you say then is this high value woman, since you vacillating between value and quality? Tell us what this high
ooh,
value
yeah.
woman is. Give us some
And I'll
samples.
tell you. So today, what I did is I intertwined my traits of high quality and high value woman, right?
Oh,
So
ladies, slow down right now. Slow down, ladies.
I've
Now, I
intertwined
want you
it.
to understand, ladies, you're going to get two perspectives here. One from a veteran, and one from a rookie. Now, you
Uh,
got to understand that. So
there
the
we go.
rookie's getting ready to tell you, and so you got to keep this in
Guys,
perspective.
I'm the
A
new age.
rookie's telling you, and then there's a veteran's going to tell you. Now, let's
See, I'm the
listen at
new
the
age,
rookie
guys.
first.
I'm the new age, guys. So a lot of people listen to me. We're the new wave. People you guys understand out there. So let's talk about it. So some of the traits that I think as far as high value goes, one, the woman is submissive. And when I say that, a lot of people are going to be triggered.
Yes, they're going crazy right now.
They're going to
Submissive.
get
Let's hear it.
triggered.
Let's hear it. Okay,
You
let's
know
hear it.
why? Because when I say submissive, a lot of people don't like the way that word is used. Now, can it be misused or misinterpreted? Yes. And I think a lot of people misinterpret what that word means,
Tell us.
especially from a biblical perspective. And when I say being submissive, it does not mean that you're weak. It does not mean that all you do is cook and clean, and that means you're a stay-at-home mom. When you tell women this, they think, well, you just want me to stay at home and not do nothing. I didn't say that. Submissive means that the man is the head of the household, the woman is the neck. I don't
Oh my
believe that the
goodness.
woman is the head of the household. Yeah, I'm coming in firing guns blazing right away. I'm ready. I'm shooting them up. And
They're
guess
gonna
what?
say you wait,
That's
they're
one
gonna
of the
say you
traits.
sound like an old man. They're gonna say you sound like an old man. How you gonna come to that conclusion, Chris? And what first of all, you not married. So if you're not married, how do you come to the conclusion that a woman would be the neck of the man?
Well, that's just a biblical perspective, right? The man is the head of the household biblically. So I'm just following that where I may not be married. The man is the head of the household, correct? He's the leader of the household spiritually. Is that
I,
correct? You would
I
agree?
would agree. I would agree with that. Yeah, but
Right.
the other ladies out there may not.
Okay, well, that just goes on preference of what do you believe. But me, I'm coming from traditional and a religious perspective. So
And
if
they're
you
gonna
don't
say
have any of those
traditional.
balances,
Why you gonna be traditional? I thought you were new age. I thought you were the new movement. Why are you
hey, yeah,
traditional? We got
hey,
Camilla Harris in office, and you're gonna
I
say,
don't root. I
"Oh,
didn't say anything about that, but I'm saying, look, baby boy, look. So with the new age is the fact that I agree with some lanes as far as them increasing for women, as far as roles, but there are some things that stay true and are still true to this day. Is one being submissive because what I do believe that can be problematic is when there's two people trying to be the head of a household. That's going to be an issue. When there's two people fighting over the steering wheel or trying to be the captains of the ship, that's going to be an issue. If you look at any team or any ship, anything that's being led by somebody, it's always one person leading it. There could be a Robin, but there's a Batman. But if there's two Batmans, it's two egos. It's too much going on over there.
you know what they had? You know what they found? I think it was in one of the zoos. They had this thing where it's a snake. I think it was a copperhead snake, which had two heads on it. Can you imagine that? A snake with two heads. It had one head on the side and another head that grew out of. So it was this snake with two heads. Now the thing was, when someone first saw the snake, they didn't immediately want to capture it. You know what they wanted to do? Kill it.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because they said it had two heads and they considered it a freak of nature. They said, it's got two heads. We got to kill that thing. But what they ended up doing was capturing it, and they went to, I think, one of the zoos or something like that. But the point is this: when you see anything with two heads, everybody immediately think it's a freak. It's abnormal. Something's wrong. Guess what? In the home, it's the same way. If you try to have two heads, it's a freak. It's abnormal. Something's wrong. It just can't work. Two heads cannot operate together. It cannot work that way. So your concept, somebody's got to be the neck. You're right. Somebody has to be the neck. But women will say, why can't I be the head? I want to be the head. And I would
Mm-hmm.
say, yes, I hear what you're saying. And there may be times when you perform as the head. But overall, there has to be someone that is considered the head. Now, there may be times when you have an influence on the head, and that may be something that you have an
Right.
influence on the head, and you may have make decisions from the head. But the point is that your role cannot be the head if that's not the structure, or else it's going to look abnormal and freakish, and people are going to say, kill it. That's the way it works. I'm sorry, you may not like it, but that's kind of the principle of it. So, what would make them high value is understanding their role and their position that they need to obtain in a relationship dynamics. Now, it doesn't mean, for example, it doesn't mean you cannot have a job. Nobody's saying you can't have a job. That's not saying. So, women out there, hey, don't think we're saying you can't have a job. We're not saying that. We're not
Yeah.
saying you can't make more money. We're not saying that either. Not saying
Right.
that. Those words are never coming from my mouth. You might make more money. You may have this high status profile job. But when you come home, you got to understand the role. And there's a different role in the home than it is outside of the home. So you may make more money. You may say, well, I make more money. I want to decide how the money's being spent. You may have an influence on that. That's fine. That may be you're the decision maker in the home for how the money's spent. That's fine. But still, you need to understand the roles of the home and how the home is set up, because that's going to make you high value. What else would you say, Chris? What else would you say? That's a good one, boy. That's
Yeah,
good.
you said a good point on that. See, and here's what I'm gonna hit some people with. This is gonna hit them right in the heart right here. This is gonna hit them hard. See, submissive hurts women a lot, and the reason it hurts them is because of the past. They've submitted to the wrong man. That's gonna hurt them
Oh,
right there.
yeah.
They
Thank you,
submitted.
Chris. Throw the
I'm
water, throw the
going
water.
in. Woo! I told you guns blazing. Let's go. So I'm saying when women submit to the wrong man, what does that do? It creates this in their mind. Why would I submit to a man? Look what happened with me and Charlie last year or a couple years ago. Well, you got to have some standards and things like that. And obviously you live and learn, but moving forward, you got to choose the right man to be submissive to. A lot of people choose the wrong man to be submissive to, which is why they have these issues. But hey, we're not going to get too long-winded on that point. I'm gonna
Oh
let you go
yeah,
to the second
wait.
point.
We got to get a little bit more on it, because you're right. Women do choose the wrong guy to submit to. They will find themselves in a position that will hurt them. So they may find themselves without a father in their life, a father figure for their children, because they've chosen to then submit themselves to some guy who doesn't have their best interests at heart. And they need to first decipher that. And listen, I'm gonna say it's more important for a woman to decipher whom she submits to than it is for a man and whom he does or whom he interacts with. Let's say for the woman, because the woman, when she decides to submit herself, she's submitting her body and everything else to this gentleman that she has. And if she's not careful, this guy will take her down the wrong path. And she's going to say, I'm my own independent woman. But then I would ask, well, if you're your own independent woman, how did you find yourself in this spot where you're at that is not a very pleasing or a good spot that you're in? And it's because you've associated, submitted to at some point, given yourself away to some guy that doesn't even really care for you, or it made you think that he did when he really did. So they have to really Women have to really vet a guy. They have to really kind of sift through them and kind of find out what they're about. They really need to do that because guys, I'm telling them, I'm telling these women now, these guys will lead you to the wrong destination, and that's why so many women out there that are with child that doesn't have a man in their life. So many women out there are in these situations that are really bad for them. They're in financial ruins with guys that are not really pulling their weight. Things like they find themselves in these spots because they've chosen these guys, and they would say, "I haven't submitted to you." Yes, you have, because you've had children with it. Oh, that was my own choice. No, oh yeah, okay, okay, okay. But you had to be the
You make
one
a baby.
to relinquish and to make the baby with him. If you didn't do that, which means is a form of submission, if you didn't do that, then you wouldn't be in this spot. But they're gonna try to tell you, I like the spot I'm in. Oh yeah, okay, okay. If you could be in a better spot, would you take it? That's the question. See, the
So
question is, if you would be in a better spot, would you take it? And if the answer is yes, then you submitted to the wrong thing.
yeah,
Oh,
right, right, right.
yeah, boy. Woo.
Yeah, you hitting them, man. What I would say to piggyback off that is that one of the realest things I ever heard, as far as a quote, was men have to worry about quantity. Women have to worry about quality. See, men have the quantity of women, and women have to choose the quality of a man. They got to choose the right man as a
That's
woman.
right.
You
That's
got to
right.
choose the right, or yeah, you have to choose the right man, and the man has to deal with the amount of women available to him. Because obviously there's
Yes.
more women than men. There's a lot of women. It's 3-to-1 ratio, I think, in America. So
Wow. Look
that's what
at
I would
you with
say to
the
that.
ratios.
And man,
Boy.
I'm hitting it
Hey,
out the park, man.
listen,
That's what I do
listen.
on these
During
episodes.
during older during biblical days and before then, it was typically and it was common for a man to have more than one wife. Matter of fact, he would have concubines. He would have several wives if he could, depending on the wealth of that individual. So it was a common and it was a normal thing. Now we move up in a modern society, a postmodern society, and now we're here and we say, okay, that is wrong. You have to have one wife, right? And that's correct. You need one wife. But
Right.
even with that, the women need to make sure they're picking a man that is not interested in trying to obtain quantity. See, that's not his goal. His goal is to be focused on her and her alone, and she'll to
Right.
be his queen and his jewel. And if he treats her that way, I believe when you treat a woman well, she's gonna treat you 10 times better. Yeah, women, yeah, you know I'm rocking with that one. When you treat a woman well, she'll treat you 10 times better. And they going hallelujah on that one because that's
Right.
right. Women respond to how the man is in a relationship. So women feed off that man, whether they want to say it or not. They feed off of him, and if he's lazy, they'll tend to fall into that pattern. If he's non-productive, they'll tend to fall into that pattern. They'll fall in typically whatever the pattern of the male is. So if that male sets an example of, hey, I'm a go-getter, then she'll be back. Hey, let me support you in your go-getting or whatever you do. She'll do that because she's gonna fall into the pattern of whatever the guy is. And then some will say, well, I don't fall, I don't fall into any pattern of any guy. Well, you're probably going to end up being single. I'm sorry to say that. You're probably going to end up being by
Yeah.
yourself. And if you're comfortable with that and you're okay with that, I got no problems. Don't get mad at me. I
Well,
mean,
let me
I'm
say
okay with it.
this. Yeah, that segues, and what you just said segues into my second point, which is being feminine. See, because they'll say, I don't follow any pattern. I do my own thing. I'm independent. I get my own bag. I do this. This is what the new age is saying. And
I
I
know.
understand. I'm not saying don't go do those things. Because the truth is, look, it's a 3-to-1 ratio. Every woman can't get married. So you do need to have some type of stability in your life. Because it may
Right.
not be stable in your life. I get it. But to have that energy, see, when you have that energy coming around a man, especially if he's high value, he ain't gonna look at you twice. You trying to come around, I'm independent. I don't need no man. I do this on my own. You need to have feminine frame. Don't be having masculine frame. See, when you come around being masculine, man, I'm already masculine. I don't need you to be like that. I need
Oh,
you to be
good
my
point.
queen. And you know what, women, you got to understand, you'll be feminine, and I know you will, is whenever you believe the man will protect and provide. So that goes on both sides. Man need to show that they can protect and provide. Not wishy-washy, but the moment they can show they can protect and provide, you stay in your feminine frame. But if you come from rip, if I'm just
Oh,
getting to know you and you being masculine, I'll remove myself. I don't need to talk to you any longer. It's going to be issue because I'm trying to pull the pants. I'm going to wear the pants. You're not going to wear the pants. And if you're trying to wear the pants for me, that's an issue, right? You're trying to pull the pants immediately because, you know, one of the best things my mom always said was you finish how you start. You finish how you start. She say good. It's true. In the beginning, hey, it's how do you start? How do you embody that relationship? It's the truth.
it is. It's true. However you start, that's how you're gonna finish. So, yeah, I mean, I agree with you. If they're one of the biggest turnoff for a high value guy is a woman that claims she got it all together. A woman that claims, I got all these things, and what you're right. Because if I'm having to struggle with you to pull the pants to try to be the leader in the home, I don't want that wrestle when I get home. That's not a fight I want to have. I want a feminine woman who is saying, "Hey, baby, I know you've been out there fighting the world for us. I need
Right.
to make this home a sanctuary for you." So,
Right.
but if I come home and you trying to tell me I made more money than you today, and I did more. If I have to wrestle with you to be the king in the house and wrestle with you so you want to be king and queen, what I ain't doing it. I'm like, hey, you go on and be king and queen of your house over there and just be by yourself. That's fine. Or find you some guy that's gonna be your pauper that you can tell what to do and you can dictate to, and that
Beta,
might be yeah, that
beta man.
you want to maybe you want a beta man. That's right. You may not like an alpha guy. You may want a beta guy because an alpha guy is too much for you. You're going, hey, I want a beta guy. I can tell him what to do. I can kind of dictate to him. I can let him know how it's going to work. Well, that's fine. You call yourself an alpha woman. You need a beta guy, and that's
Right.
fine. Get you a beta guy. That works for some people. I don't think that dynamic works well, but hey, if you like it, I love it. That's fine with me. But I'm preferring because if you're an alpha guy, you're not wanting a woman that's gonna sit there and fight you all the time. That's the last thing you want. And you might say the women might say, well, that means you don't want no alpha woman. You don't want nobody to challenge you. No, that's not it. You don't want nobody to challenge. You can't take no challenge. I said, no,
Yeah.
baby, it ain't about taking the challenge. That ain't it. It's about I don't want to fight every day.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Right.
understand we're gonna have some issues. I understand we're not gonna always agree. That's different. But I don't want to have to fight you over trying to be the king.
Right.
If I gotta fight you over that, then we're on two different planes. We're not
Yeah.
we're trying to fight to see who the man of the house is. No, I'm not wrestling you over that. That's gonna be established. This is what I am. Either you're gonna accept that or not. And if not, you say, hey, I want a weak-minded, weak individual guy, go right ahead. Because a strong
And
guy
what
is
you
not gonna let you take over.
very true.
Go ahead.
And what you'll realize is that the women that are leading the household say, well, I'm leading my current household. I would say, how happy are you truly?
Yes,
Because
right.
this man, if he's not pushing the envelope of where he wants his family to be or trying to build a legacy, you're gonna realize you're gonna be more upset living that lifestyle because you're the only one up and ready to go accomplish and defeat the world, and he just chilling back. Hey, there's nothing wrong with being a stay-at-home dad if that's what you
That's right.
choose to do. But I ain't gonna say that you're alpha if you choose to do that. Sorry, you can slice and
So
dice it how you want, but as a man, if you ain't out there trying to hunt or build a legacy, and you say I let her go build our legacy, there's no way you can fool me to think that you alpha. It
no.
screams beta to me. So when the roles are flipped, I would like to see from a masculine woman that's leading the family if she's truly happy. And I would say majority of the time she's not.
Yeah, I would say that too. I would say 99% of the time they're not. But they would try to tell you they are. They would try to tell you, oh yeah, I'm really, really happy. No, you're not. Because a lot of them would tell you, I don't want to pay the bills. A lot of women don't want the stress of it. They just don't want the
Oh
stress
yeah.
of having to make sure everything's done. Make sure having everything. Because as a guy, when you lead a home, a family, you got to think of everything. I mean, you got to think of when the filters on the house need to be changed, when the oil in the car. You got to make sure everything is operational. And that's from the, as we say in the country, from the rooter to the tutor. When we were used to eat the whole pig, they say you're going to eat it from the snout to the tail, the rooter to the tutor. That's the way it
Mhm.
works. So a guy would have to try to think of everything that's going on, and he has to make every aspect of it work, and he has to move everything in it, which goes back to his leadership and what he's doing in the home and for the family, for his wife, and trying to make her a queen. If that's the type of guy that is out there, that women would say, I love a man who leads. I guarantee you, 99% of women would say, I love it when a man leads. I love it when a man prays for me. I love it when a man guides the home. I guarantee you, they'll say, I'm happy, because they'll say, I feel secure. Because I think that's the number one thing women want is security. And if they get security, they're going to say, hey, I'm good because I feel secure where I'm at. I think the man has it. He has control. And when I mean control, is not he's just hovering over them, trying to make them do certain things. In other words, he knows where the family's going. He knows
Right.
where the relationship is going. He knows where he's going to take his future wife, bride, or whatever she is in his life. He knows. Listen, I charted a course this way, baby. All you got to do is help me get over that. And see, and then she'll go, I know where I fit in. So it's
Right.
great when you know your roles. When you know your roles, what you're going to do. And I think that if women understand that, I think their value will increase for an alpha type male that is looking for a female.
Well, see, and what you, if we really want to get into a lot of women, I think truly some of them do need therapy. And the reason I say that is because,
Therapy.
when,
Wait a minute. Therapy.
hey, men do
Therapy.
too.
I got to hear
But
this. We got to hear
look,
this.
look,
Why they need therapy?
like
Why they
I'm
need
gonna be
therapy?
real quick on this, and then we'll go to the next point because there's a couple more. And the
Oh,
reason I
we
say
gotta
this,
wait. Take your time. We can do a part
okay,
two.
okay,
Take
all
your
right, all
time.
right, hey. So I would say this is that with women, when they're in their masculine frame, sometimes they're in their masculine frame. It could be because of daddy issues. Just like a son that doesn't have a father, it could be father issues that over time reveal themselves. So when,
Okay. Well, tell us what you mean, daddy issues.
well,
Come on, expand on that.
yeah, I'm going to get into it. So when a woman has not seen a father lead appropriately, and he has let, or the father is absent, one of the two, they create in their mind, well, hey, I gotta be a certain type of way because I don't know if I trust a man based on what my father has been. Maybe he's been drunk, maybe he's been aggressive, abusive, right? So when they see that, they're like, well, I don't know if I can trust a man because based on my trust factor, my father is the first person a woman will trust. It's the father as soon as they're
Mm.
born. That's the first person I'm gonna trust. And if I can't trust my father, how can I trust any other random man out there that wants to court me? So at first they're
Oh,
gonna be pulling teeth, trying to fight with you for the pants because they don't trust truly. So that's why I would say therapy. Talk about the father issues and those things and how it impacted you because it might affect you when you're trying to go out there and date a man because it's truly rooted from you don't trust man based on how your father raised you or because your father was never present. So you don't know it. What you don't know, how do you know how to respond to? If you've never been around money, how you gonna know how to, appropriately, act with money. Why is it that lottery winners, whenever they win the lottery, they go broke immediately? Because they never seen money. So when it's something you've never seen, it takes time to understand. And when it takes time to understand, it's going to mean a lot of areas of issues. I'm preaching.
oh,
I know. I'm
oh,
going
wow,
on. I know I'm
wow.
hitting. I know
So,
I'm
well,
hitting
in
this.
this, oh, okay, okay, in this therapy that you think a lot of women need, you think they would just need to talk through their issues of what happened with their fathers? Is that it?
Yeah, I think talking, I would say religious, go to a church where you can talk to, because again, religiously. But I do think talking about those things, you come to grips and come to accept that what your father did, you cannot put on to the next man. Because
Yes.
some people attach that and put it to the next. You were like my father. You said, no, 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 no. We are not the same. But you have to be able to relinquish what happened in the past. A lot of people hold on to what happened in the past and then they apply it to the next person or the next group of people that come in their life. A lot of people
Right.
do. So if
Yeah.
you can separate the two through therapy, through counseling, through prayer, whatever it is that you feel that you need, doing those things will allow you to relinquish and move to the next person and then be able to look at them appropriately and look at your standards and appropriately categorize them.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, I could see your point there that a lot of people, a lot of the women may need therapy in the sense that they take what their fathers have done and they apply that to every individual in their life. But it also, I would also say, it expands from not only the father, but their previous relationship. I think women have the hardest time relinquishing what happened in their previous relationship because they will take that previous relationship and then they will apply that to the next individual coming to their life. And they will either be hard on them because of what they experienced in the previous relationship, and it kind of helps shape and mold them. And so the man that they've attached to from the very beginning has really created calluses in their life that when the next individual comes, it is hard for them to get over the calluses and get through to them because they've created this buffer around them that they've established from the bad guy that they chose to hook up with. And
Mm-hmm.
yet they got to understand, I got to relinquish what happened in the previous and make sure and vet these guys better than what they're doing. So whatever the process that they're using to kind of determine what guy it is they want to be around, they need to maybe change that process. And one of them, I would say, listen, I hate to say this for women, but if you think a sex is the thing that's going to get the guy, you're wrong.
You're wrong.
You're wrong. You
You're
are
wrong.
absolutely wrong. If you think it's in the sexual realm, you are way off. Because as you get older, sex becomes different in the lives of people. Now, when you're younger, it may be more lustful. But
Mm.
as we're younger, we think that's what gets a man, but that will not keep a man. See, it's good at the beginning. Everybody, it's great. But guess what? That stuff changes. What happens when you start arguing? You start fighting and you don't like each other anymore. You not all of a sudden
Right.
sex, you're like, yeah. And then you don't want to have sex. Well, guess what? The very thing you're thinking keeps us together is the very thing that can't keep you together. So you have to find the women have to understand it is not a sexual thing that will keep them together and understand that if I'm looking for something long term, I wouldn't base it on sex. That would be the last thing I look at. I would look at more of the character. I would look at more of what this guy has to offer. I would look at more of what his job is, what kind of work he does. And then they're going to say, well, the job doesn't really matter. Yes, it does, because it's
Yes,
going to
it does.
determine, it will determine the status in which you live. So if you're not taking that into account and you're expecting to live this high status life and you get a guy that doesn't make a ton of money, and there's nothing wrong with that, but you got to understand, you got to reduce your status or your idea of living. And if you're okay with that, that's fine. But if you want a certain lifestyle, certain living, then you got to say, I got to remember, if I'm not with individuals in that, at least that category, I'm not going to get that lifestyle. So
Mm-hmm.
they need to, evaluate, hey, where do I want to be in life? And,
Mm-hmm.
I have to match myself up with individuals that are either in the same field, the same ideology, the same concept. Because if you don't, and you don't, hey, it will be off the chart. It's over. It's over. I'm telling you, ladies, I'm sorry. I'm trying to put it out there as nicely as I can. Just
Warning
trying to
signs.
educate. I'm just
Yep.
trying to
Yep.
educate.
Yep.
Hey, it's all. I tell you what, Chris, time is already flown. You know what I'm saying? It is already over. But you know what? We can continue this discussion with our part two. Is
Yep.
that
Part
gonna be
two.
good? We're gonna
Yep.
have
That'll
part two.
work.
We just got part one on the books, but we're gonna create a part two so that you guys can hear what we have to say about these high value, high quality women. This is great conversation. We're glad you're here listening to us today. We got more to impart upon you, more wisdom to throw your way, more controversies to bring out so that you guys would hear You know, I know it's been controversial because Chris started with some crazy stuff. Submissive.
Yeah.
Who's gonna talk about that right off the bat?
Woo! Yeah.
But
I
it's
just
been
tell it
good.
like it is.
Hey, it's been good. Time really goes when you're having a great time talking about these things. So I tell you what, next time let's set up a part 2 and we'll continue this high value woman talk.
All right, guys. Well, we'll see you next week. Until then, enjoy this episode.